Hello, my name is Roger Billica. I'm a medical doctor in Fort Collins, Colorado. I have a functional integrative medicine clinic here. It's been going on for about 23, 24 years. And before that, for 10 years, I was the chief of medical operations for the NASA space program. I want to talk to you today about one of the most common questions that people come and ask me, and that is, why is it so hard to be healthy these days? Well, let's talk about that. And first, I want to mention, if you do want any more information about our clinic, who we are, or anything we're talking about, you can go to the website, trilifehealth.com, that's on the screen. So let's start. Why is it so hard to be healthy today? Well, your health, you can look at it a lot of different ways. It's not simply, in my opinion, the absence of disease. Your health is the intersection of your genetic blueprint, your God-given genetic design, and the environment that you put it in. And that environment consists of good things and bad things. So good things like nutrition and hydration, exercise, sleep, sunshine exposure, nurturing relationships, good bugs in your gut, all of these things that we know we need to be healthy. That helps express the genetics in a good way. But there's plenty of bad stuff that we're struggling with these days. There's environmental toxins and allergens. There's things we're actually doing to ourselves that unfortunately are controversial, but they should be thought about, like fluoride in the drinking water or the long-term effect of the COVID vaccines we've been exposed to and things like that. Then there's all the biological toxins, the infections, bacteria, viruses, parasites, which seem to be more prominent these days, things that you're allergic to. And while food can be a good thing, food can also be a bad thing if you're eating unhealthy foods or foods you're allergic to. Then there's emotional toxins, unhealthy relationships, trauma, mechanical thing. And finally, there's the thing I really want to get to is the focus of today's topic, and that's electromagnetic radiation exposure, or EMF. People call it EMR or EMF. But what we learn here, if we look at this, is there's a wide range of electromagnetic frequencies that we're being exposed to these days. Everything from power and telephones to radio frequencies, microwaves, infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, it goes the whole spectrum. But back in the 1800s, we weren't exposed to all this stuff as much as today. I mean, there was the natural Earth's geomagnetic field called the Schumann frequencies or Schumann field that are important and healthy for us. But in the 1900s, we started adding the technology of more and more and more different electromagnetic field radiations that we're getting exposed to. So radio and television and telephones and all this. And in the last 10 to 20 years, it's just exploded. And you know this, the 5G, the 10G, the Wi-Fi, the internet, the computer stuff, etc. It's just everywhere, and it's impossible to escape and impossible to avoid. Well, why is this a problem? Well, some people are a lot more sensitive than others. Some people don't have seemingly problems with this, and others are exquisitely sensitive to this. And you see a lot of symptoms that people get exposed to from this exposure: insomnia, fatigue, headaches, brain fog and memory issues, anxiety and depression, heart palpitations, neuropathy, ringing in the ears, tinnitus, dizziness. And it's also been linked with a lot of specific conditions like low hormones, low thyroid, low testosterone, brain tumors, cellular mitochondrial damage, infertility, autism spectrum perhaps, but a lot of concerns, a lot of articles, a lot of writing about it. So what can you do? Well, you can try and avoid it. That's an interesting proposition in today's world. I guess you can go hide in the wilderness of Alaska or something. But for most of us, there's no avoiding it. In fact, we need it because we run our lives on this stuff. So you need to do some things to protect yourself. You can use Faraday bags to block some things. There's Stetzer filters you can put in the sockets around your home. There's grounding devices. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. And there's a whole generation of now new devices that are being promoted that propose to block and filter and change the EMF. And I'm not so sure about those. I've looked into them. I tried them. I think they do have some benefit. But there's also a question if they're doing that, are your devices going to work properly, et cetera. So I was discussing this, and a good friend of mine, Dr. Jim Oshman, who's a brilliant physicist, he wrote the book on energy medicine. That's his thing, and I've been with him when he's lectured. He's just brilliant. He was visiting me at one point, and he came in my office, and we were talking about this stuff, and he reached in his pocket and pulled out this little credit card size thing, and he says, "Roger, this is what you need." And it turns out this is from a company in Spain called Pranan, Pranan. And it's a little device, and it's very unique. I want to read to you the characteristics of it here. These are passive devices. They do not store the radiation. Their lifetime is unlimited as long as they're undamaged or you don't put them through the washing machine. They are automatically operational when close enough to your body, and each one's had different ranges of effect. There's no maintenance, there's no power source required, it's totally passive, and they do not alter the properties or the proper operation of nearby electromagnetic devices. So how do they work? But there's a lot of discussion in the articles. You can go to the website and go to products, and there's a whole bunch of references and articles and published research on these that'll explain it. But basically what I get is it works by strengthening your body's own intrinsic energy field, your scalar energy field. It's another form of wavelength energy that's different than the EMF, and it makes it stronger, more robust, and so you're better able to tolerate the exposure to EMF. It's just fascinating. So you can find this information on our websites. There's a variety of devices. There's ones for the phone. There's ones that can hang as a piece of jewelry or on a pendant. There's travel ones that have enough robust energy that can work in a car or an airplane for you. There's these towers that will work in your house or in your office for space as long as you're in that region. And then there's the one I pulled out of my pocket, the Fiveways, which I like to carry around. It's about the size of a credit card. And they work. And I've tested people, and I've had testimonials of the effective people who were sensitive. They're good things. I want you to know about them. Please go to our website, get more information if you're interested. And I hope this has been helpful for you. Thanks for listening.